Call to order. Good evening, everybody. The time is 6:01, and I'd like to call the special meeting of the Rochelle Park Township Committee to order. Open Public Meeting Act. According to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of the special meeting of January 14, 2026 was transmitted to the Bergen Record and Herald News on January 9, 2026. In addition, a copy of this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and the Township website is on file in the office of the Township Clerk. Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Apici?
Present.
Committeewoman Garcia will be absent from today's special meeting. Committeeman Smith?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky?
Here.
Mayor Miller?
Here. Committeewoman Teresa Judge Gravel is on a well-deserved vacation. We'll see her at the next meeting. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right. At this time, I will ask for a motion to adopt resolution number 26-049, authorizing the Township Committee to enter into closed session to discuss matters relating to legal issues, litigation, potential litigation, contract negotiation, and attorney-client privilege, including retiree health benefits agreements and billboard contract. May I have a motion to enter closed session?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Apici?
Yes.
Committeeman Smith?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. All right.
We just have to make an announcement. The Township Committee will be in closed session for approximately a half hour, at which time they will come out for a public session and further action will be taken.
Are you leaving us or are we leaving?
I think we'll.
We're leaving. We're now in closed session. Right. Can I get a motion to come out of closed session?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Apici?
Yes.
Committeewoman Smith?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. Awesome. All right, we are now back in public session. Thank you for your patience. Our first item for discussion tonight is the 2026 revaluation. Many of you saw the appraisal company that did the revaluation in town this past summer and fall, completing inspections at your home. That work has wrapped up, and the preliminary numbers are now ready for everybody to review. So at this time, I want to turn it over to our tax assessor, Ed Brown, along with our representative from ASI. Thank you. You guys take a seat.
Thank you.
Yeah, you might have to just pull that mic down a little bit. It'll pick you up pretty loud. Okay. I can be heard?
Yeah.
All right. Good evening. So, as you mentioned, Mayor, the preliminary numbers have been completed for the revaluation, and we're ready to send out value notification letters to the property owners throughout the township. Based upon, I guess I should start that. The last time this process has been done was for the 2010 tax year. And from 2010 to 2025 and that 2026, there's been a lot of changes in the real estate market. Trends have changed for commercial properties, residential properties, specifically office buildings. And the long and the short of it is that there is a shift in the tax burden from the commercial taxpayers to the residential taxpayers, and a large shift. To get just straight to the point, we're projecting right now that, in 2025, the average tax bill for a residential property within the township was $9,855. We're projecting that to increase to $10,807.40. So that is on average an increase of $952. So in 2025, our assessments were at 68.64% of market value as established by the State Division of Taxation. That number is called the equalization ratio. Each town has one unique to it, where the state tracks where the sales are in comparison to the assessments. So now we're bringing all the properties up to 100%. And although we're going to be collecting a similar amount of money that we are next year, changes within the real estate market and trends, it changes that the residential properties are worth exponentially more than the commercial properties on the whole at this time.
And that's throughout the state, correct?
It's throughout the state, but this is very specific. These numbers right here are specific to Rochelle Park. The biggest thing is that some of our biggest taxpayers in town are large office buildings. And I think that people might generally know that the office market hasn't been doing well. It wasn't doing well before COVID. And in the post-COVID market, it's even worse. People have generally, well, not generally, but vacancy is much higher. A lot of more people are working from home. There's a lot less demand for office space. So the office market has stayed relatively flat, if not gotten a little bit worse since the last time we've done a reval. That is side by side with the residential market, which has gone through the roof, specifically post-COVID. So that's why we're seeing these shifts in the rateable base and more taxes, or a bigger portion of the tax burden shifting to the residents.
So why don't you go through the process? The residents are going to receive a letter, and when do you think they'll be getting their letter?
So we can send them out as early as tomorrow. So once they receive their letter, there'll be instructions on how to coordinate a individual one-on-one meeting with a representative of appraisal systems. During that process, your information will be reviewed if we never got inside, and that's something to keep in mind. Of this amount of increases, 27% of the town we did not gain interior access to. So those properties are going to see a much larger increase because they're estimated. So of course, during this review process, that will be an opportunity to have us come out and inspect the property. Once all the meetings are completed, those who had a meeting will receive a follow-up letter with what the final value is for 2026.
And are the residents informed that if they do not allow an inspection of the house, they're not permitted to file an appeal?
Correct. So it's very important if you say, well, I don't want you in, I'll just appeal. That's great. However, when you appeal, the commissioners in the county will tell you that you need to let the inspector in and perform the inspection in order for you to proceed with the tax appeal.
The County Board of Taxation will not reduce an assessment if the property owner refuses an inspection.
Right.
So at some point, if the number does come in high and it gets challenged, eventually you're going to have to let somebody in no matter what.
And when you meet with the residents, that's their opportunity to ask questions. Why did it go up? And bring things to your attention maybe you didn't know that they think may allow them to get some type of reduction.
Correct.
And they're allowed to avail themselves of that process. And if they're not satisfied at that point, then they still have the right to appeal to the county tax.
That is correct. They
That's
still have recourse to file on May 1st this year.
But the residents should be encouraged to take advantage of that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because when you file, I sat on the county tax board as a commissioner. So just so the residents know, if you wait till then, you're not going to get the one-on-one because there may be 50 residents there, and the representatives of the township are not going to have the opportunity to spend that much time with you. So this is a resident's best opportunity to really discuss their assessment with the appraisal company and with the township's assessor, and you should take advantage of that. And there is the possibility that you may get a reduction at that level of discussion versus waiting for the county commissioners to make a decision.
Yeah, and that is the purpose of those meetings, to explain the process, but also to address concerns. And if there's something that hasn't been taken into consideration, we have the opportunity to change the assessments before it's finalized.
So those letters can be sent out as soon as tomorrow, and then when can we start the one-on-one sessions with residents?
Next week.
Yeah.
We'll be doing one-on-one meetings over the phone, but also right here in the municipal building, meeting with people in person.
It's just important to know that the meetings have to be scheduled with the firm in order to have the proper paperwork during the meeting. People can't just show up. So all the information on how to schedule online and or call the office will be included in the letter.
Do you know what hours those meetings range from?
We do throughout the day. We try to open evening hours and a Saturday if need be.
Okay, thank you. We can open up the senior center for those meetings?
Sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Ed, one question I have is, I know that many residents are probably going to be asking, if their individual taxes rise, does that mean the municipality is receiving more revenue? Can you sort of explain how the assessed value and the tax rate work together?
Yeah, this is a net neutral, meaning that there might be increases for every dollar that someone goes up, somebody else goes down a dollar. In this circumstance, it happens to be the commercial properties on average, and individually it's all over. But on average, there's a shift to the commercial.
The same amount of revenue is collected. It's not that you're generating more money for the township to spend. If the budget last year, or the budget this year is $11 million, it's not going to be 12 because of the reevaluation. They're still going to collect $11 million from both the commercial and residential property.
Yeah, the reasoning that this process is done periodically is to redistribute the tax base. Over time, trends in the real estate market change. We haven't done inspections. So to address those and make taxation more fair and equitable, the state has stepped in and forced the township to do so.
What was our ratio, present ratio?
The present ratio is 68.64%. If we did not do the revaluation, it would be down to 63.89% for next year.
So everybody understands that means the value of your home, based upon the present assessment, is only assessed at approximately 66% of its true value, and you're supposed to be at 100%. And when you fall below 15%, you get ordered to do a revaluation. So this wasn't like, oh, let's do a reassessment and change everybody's tax base. This township was ordered because your ratio fell so far below what it's supposed to be. And that's to provide equity. In other words, is it fair that some property owners are paying more taxes than what they should be, and other property owners are paying less than what they should be?
And John, to piggyback on that, the township was ordered for revaluation in 2019 for the 2021 tax year. So the extensions have been granted, but it had to be done at a certain point. And the other thing that the County Board of Taxation does look at, there's the equalization ratio, which you talked about, the percentage of where our assessments are in relation to market value. But there's also another number, statistic, I should say, that the Division of Taxation and the County Board of Taxation review, and that's called the coefficient of deviation. That number, it basically shows the lower the coefficient of deviation, the more equitable the assessments are. When the assessments start to get out of whack and less equitable, the coefficient gets higher. And typically, when the county tax board sees coefficients over 10%, they want to address the assessments in the municipality and order evaluations. So at the time we were ordered, our coefficient was just under 14%. In 2022, it was 17.65%. In 23, it was 15.2. In 24, it was 17.77. So these numbers show that our assessments are inequitable, that they aren't uniform, and needed to be addressed, or at least the county tax board saw that we needed to be addressed.
And that's important to note because that doesn't mean that a revaluation is supposed to happen every 10 years. It really depends on the equalization ratio. The
ratio and the coefficient are the two key numbers that the county is looking for. And it's not every 10 years. I think a lot of people believe that. In our case, we did it for the 2010 tax year, and now we're doing it for the 26 tax year. So it's 16 years. There's other municipalities. I mean, I could think of, I believe, Upper Saddle River hasn't been done since the 2002 tax year. I think Alpine maybe 2003. And then you go out of the county. I know Elizabeth they went from 1968 to, I believe, 2023, without doing one.
And you have some communities in Bergen County doing the annual assessments, which
Yes.
is basically eliminates this because the ratio is always going to be close to that 100%, so.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it would have happened in pieces
Right.
if you were doing the reassessment each year instead of hitting it once, and hitting it in an obviously much bigger fashion, percentage-wise.
Any questions from the Township Committee before we open up to the public? All right. Can I get a motion to open up to public comment specifically for the 2026 revaluation?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Committee Member Tucci?
Yes.
Committee Smith?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor, I'm sorry, Kuchowinski and Mayor Miller.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we are now open to the public. If anyone wants to ask a question.
Yakabuchi, Susan Yakabuchi, Ward Street. How does this impact the library value?
What the library gets in taxes, the library gets a percentage, I forget the percentage off the top of my head, of the equalized value. So last year it was our total assessments divided by the equalization ratio I mentioned, which was 68.64%. Now it's going to be our rateable base times 100%. So it really shouldn't change the library budget much.
We're currently around $330,000 in evaluation for the town. You don't think that's going to go up?
No, I think it'll be pretty close. It might go up slightly because, as I mentioned, it's an equalized value. So it's
Okay.
not, our values overall have gotten up significantly.
Okay.
However, when it comes to the library budget, when it's being set, it's our total amount of ratables. So that number last year was just under $1 billion. Now we're raising to $1.5 billion. However, that number was divided by the equalization ratio, which, as I mentioned, was 68.64%.
Do commercial properties pay into the library?
Yes, everybody does.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And just to follow that up, your taxes basically go three places. They go to the schools, which take the biggest piece, they go to the county, and then they go to the municipality, Rochelle Park. That, it doesn't matter. We have one general tax rate, so whatever the use of the property is, everybody's paying the same proportionally.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Michael Warren, 181 West Older Street. In your experience, I know this is a sticker shock. You mentioned that earlier in your speech about the increase. 16 years, a long time to go, and you did mention that there are towns that do rolling assessments, maybe every year, maybe every 2 years. Is that a system that you think Rochelle Park should look into to avoid what is considered to be a large increase for many people?
It's something to contemplate in the future. There's a lot of towns that do it. You can't do it every 2 years. You either have to do it every year for a 5-year cycle or not do it. So
Why is that?
It's the rules set forth by the state. It's not county rules. It's not municipal rules.
So if the township is going to remain static, meaning that we continue to zone for office buildings and we don't rezone for more small businesses, other types of businesses to come in, stick with this plan. But if you're saying that if the town's going to maybe move away from office space, which you say is declining, and the value is sinking, which is creating more of a burden for the residents, in your professional opinion, which method do you think would be beneficial?
Well, it could work either way. If a property is rezoned and redeveloped, it's not that it doesn't get assessed. It will get assessed. It'll happen each year. I file what's called the added assessment list, where I pick up all the new construction or construction that's been done at properties. So, this year we had a big rateable come on with the self-storage facility over by Essex Street, the Harley-Davidson dealership. I know the year before there was an addition. That was before I was here, but there was an addition at the ShopRite property.
Yes.
So when these things happen, they do get picked up. I know a lot of towns like to do the rolling reassessment or the annual reassessment. The one thing I can note, though, is that it's not going to change. It would change things small in increments. However, we're still looking at a market where the residentials are still appreciating and high. So, I mean, there would be a shift each year, just because of the way our rateable base is constructed.
And my final question for you is, across the street, there's a pallet agreement, payment in lieu of taxes. Apartment buildings like that, if they were taxed on the regular method that everybody else is, would that have helped or hurt us, or no effect?
Without running the numbers, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Bob Davidson, Lexington Avenue. I'm actually going to be asking about the Route 17 project. I know it's not has anything to deal with this today, but I really think what needs to be done, going back to what I actually brought up last meeting, I really think that they need to look at what's going to happen with that expansion of Route 17. We have a good idea of the number of buildings or ratables that we're going to be losing. And I think that there's something that they should take a look at, and I strongly suggest that you look at it today. I know they say it's 5 years away. I mean, I received a letter from the state where they're actually starting to do various types of work for that project. So I think that the town needs to be able to take a look, because 5 years is not that far away. And there certainly is something that I think needs to be addressed. At least you have some kind of an idea what the impact is going to be, even at today's dollars. So I would strongly suggest you do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. No, Mr. Davidson, I really appreciate that. I think that this is an opportunity for us to sit with our planner, as well as the CFO. Our master plan is up this year, and this township is desperate for an effective, well-thought-out master plan. I believe our current planner actually said that the last master plan from 2016 wasn't even written correctly. So there's a lot to be done with our planning, and specifically our 2026 master plan.
Right. So I think this is an opportunity now to get some kind of a real educated guess of where you're going. The other thing, just real quick if I can, with the apartment buildings, how are they treated? Are they treated as residential?
They're
Or
treated
is
as
it,
commercial buildings. They're viewed as investment properties. So they're valued the same way as most commercial properties, which is based upon their income minus vacancy and minus expenses. That's how an investor views these type of properties.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Diane Verhassel, Forest Place, hi. The amount of people, at least based on what we were told at the last meeting, was 600 families, or homes, I should say, which is about a fourth of how many homes are in Rochelle Park that didn't allow you guys in?
32% is the number we just said.
Okay, so
we got into 78%.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 68%. And we'll have the opportunity now, when these meetings start, the letters get sent out, to get into more homes.
Because my question, I guess, is based on, let's say, even half those people don't respond or don't want to let you in, or whatever the reason is. Will that obviously will affect the amount of money coming in one way or the other?
Well, it'll affect the distribution that those people, when the budgets get sent, that's the amount of money that's being collected. So the revaluation of the assessor, I don't generate revenue for the town. I distribute revenue.
Right, I know it based on what you said, yeah.
So in those circumstances, what we're required to do by case law is, if we don't gain access to the property, we have to estimate it to the highest reasonable potential. So if someone doesn't let us in the home, we're going to have to assume that there's renovations done. If they have a basement, we're going to have to assume the basement's finished. If they have an attic, we have to assume the attic's finished. Things of that nature. So by not letting us in, most of these people are going to have an inflated assessed value and then be paying more of the tax burden.
Because usually, many times, and I'm talking through the years, you see whatever business has been reassessed, we see it in the notes, let's say in a town meeting, and then they were given, let's say, a less tax amount, whether it's office building or whatever, which of course goes into what you were saying, how commercial is less, residence is more. So if your resident amount based on now it's a third, whatever, of the homes can change by May, how will that affect, because you said they have till May to do this.
Not till May. They have basically a month from now, give or take.
Oh, so if they don't do it by then,
Well, no, they have it before the numbers get finalized, and if they don't do it by then they have till May 1st to file an appeal. And if they don't do so by then they have to wait till the following year.
well, that's what I'm saying, so if those appeals happen, how will that affect your amount of money coming in around, you know? That's a lot of homes that could,
If there are properties that need to be decreased, then we will have to refund. However, the township does budget for refunds each year.
okay. Curious how that works. Thank you.
I have a question. Oh, all right.
Anybody else from the public? Hearing or seeing nobody, can I get a motion to close public comment?
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Cindy Colvin,
Yes.
David Smith. Here. Deputy Mayor Chouinski.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. Mr. Chwinsky?
One thing I didn't see on the list here was the private school Sage Day. Was that reevaluated or part of the reevaluation?
Yes, that's a commercial property. They are paying taxes, and that was reevaluated.
Listed as commercial.
Yes.
Okay.
Ed, my question is, of the office properties that are in town, do you know basically the impact that they are having on that average $952 per average assessed household?
Yeah, it's a large impact. So when I talk about redistribution and changes, you're seeing everything basically increase with the exception of the office buildings. I went through and identified 22 pure office buildings, and some of them are biggest taxpayers in town. In 2025, these 22 properties had an aggregate assessment of just under $79 million. For 2026, our preliminary numbers have them just over $77 million. So there's a slight decrease in these properties. So for that $952 increase we've been speaking about, these 22 properties alone account for $486 of that increase. So, I mean, these are what's really kind of the Achilles heel, if you will.
Thank you. Anybody else? Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
What's your mayor, if you have a specific record
Sorry. All right, moving right along, discussion on advertisement for a full-time zoning officer, construction official, building subcode official, and building inspector. So we're bringing this forward tonight because the Township Committee continues to receive a lot of property maintenance concerns that require consistent attention. And a part-time structure, which is what we currently have, limits our ability to respond proactively and as efficiently as we would like. And actually, our municipal code requires a full-time construction official. So this discussion really allows us to take a responsible step toward aligning our operations with that requirement in our code book. Would anyone like to weigh in on this advertisement?
I'd like to weigh in on it. I think, Mayor, I think it's a solid move on our part. I think the department's been operating okay for the way it's been structured and up till now. But I think in the time and the place that we're in right now with the amount of construction that's been going on and that we see around town, I think it would be helpful. I think it would be beneficial to the residents to have a face that's in the building department regularly from a construction official leading the way that's also a subcode official. I have heard some of the concerns and the complaints in the past through time. I don't have a list of people, but I have heard the complaints from contractors trying to go into the building department and not being able to receive a building permit or receive answers for questions that they've had at the times they've gone. And, it's enough has come up that rises to the point that where we're at. And I think it's a prudent move on our part. I also think, I was looking at the ad, and I think the ad, I don't know if you want to read it or not, but I think the ad is pretty solid the way it is. And I said, I think it's time to go. It's time to move forward. That's all I have.
Anybody else? All right, so we could have interested candidates could submit a letter of interest with a resume and copy of their licensees no later than, what's the date, 2 weeks from now?
28th of January.
All right, January 28th. All right. So if there's no further comments, I'll ask for a motion to authorize the job posting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Apici?
Yes.
Committeeman Smith?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. Thank you so much. All right, our next item of discussion is township office hours. So as many know, the township has operated on a modified schedule during the summer months, including extended hours on Wednesdays and short hours on Fridays. That schedule ended up being continued by a resolution last year in September. But at this point of the year, it seems appropriate for the township to transition back to our standard township office hours of 8 to 4, consistent with our regular operating schedule. Any comments on this, Township Committee? Great. So we'll possibly keep it operational for the next 2 weeks and then transition back February 1st. All right, so I'm going to ask for a motion to temporarily continue the current township office hour schedule, including extended Wednesdays and shortened Fridays, until February 1st. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Committeewoman Apici?
Yes.
Committeeman Smith?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky?
Yes.
And Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Continuing summer hours for summer?
Yes, so the continuation will be temporary for 2 more weeks, and then let's do a formal resolution on the next agenda that lays out the hours for the year. Thanks so much. All right, any correspondence?
No, not this time, Mayor.
All right, new business. I'll begin with new business. On January 8th, the Rochelle Park Environmental Commission hosted David Refkin, Chair of Green Ridgewood, for an informational presentation on regional flooding impacts along the Saddle River. Mr. Refkin has played a significant role in organizing affected municipalities and contributing to data-driven flooding research with academic partners, including Columbia University. And I understand the discussion focused on regional coordination among neighboring towns. And I want to thank the Environmental Commission, Commissioner Michael Warren, for organizing the event. I want to thank Deputy Mayor Matt Chawinski for attending. I think that this really underscores the Township Committee to staying informed on issues impacting our residents. So thank you. Anybody else for new business?
I'd like to piggyback on the back of that new business. I attended, like was just said by the mayor, and for anybody that hasn't heard this presentation, it's a very powerful presentation. And I think the amount of information that was shared was staggering at that presentation. And I think the solutions, some of the solutions that were presented that will have to involve the county it's pretty clear on how some of these solutions can help all of us and benefit with our flooding issues. It's going to take effort from a coalition of everyone on the river and then some, and further out, further reaching. It's also going to take participation and agreement with the county. But I think and I feel that this is a big wave that's ready to go. And I think as long as we all get behind it and we all push, we might just get somewhere with this. So I was happy to attend, and I thank Michael Warren for setting that up and the Environmental Commission for inviting me. And it was a great event. So I'm looking forward to going further with this.
Thank you. Anybody else for new business?
Do you want me to discuss the billboard, Mayor?
That'd be great.
Yeah, in front of it. So I received a phone call, I guess last week sometime, from a gentleman seeking information about a billboard. I was immediately ecstatic, thinking he wanted to rent the township's loop. But having a conversation with this person who's been in the advertisement business or the marketing business for over 25 years, out of a firm from Paramus, he was actually looking for a different sign, the ownership of a different sign on Route 17. But in picking his brain, I learned that, because I explained to him we have yet to get anybody wanting to rent our space. When I told him what our pricing schedule was, he said, yeah, for that rate, you're never going to get anybody unless you had a static board. And we don't have access to a static board. We have an access to the digital loop of, with 8 other advertisements during the same time. And in speaking with that gentleman and speaking with the town committee, we've decided what we want to do, Mayor. Again, you know this, but for the public's sake, is we're going to go to a more competitive pricing scheme and probably do that, change our current ordinance that sets the pricing to allow this committee and any committee going forward via resolution to set that price so we can fluctuate with the current market rates for that sign. So I want to thank the mayor and this committee for, hearing that, and hopefully we move forward on it next meeting.
Absolutely. We'll amend that ordinance. I really appreciate it. Mr. Smith, anything?
Oh, yes, as far as the 250, America 250, I think this is a great year to celebrate, obviously, 250 years of this great country that we all live in. And I know we're going to be doing ceremonies throughout the year all over the country. I am interested in finding out if there's any townies, anybody that's been here a long time, to find some possible pictures from 1976 and 1926, where we can kind of maybe celebrate what the 200-year anniversary looked like in Roshaw Park, and the 150. I'm not holding my breath for the 1926 one. It might be really quite interesting maybe put a display out in the municipal building, or just thinking out loud. So it's just something came to me. I thought it would be nice to share it with the town and find out if there's something we can do about that. So.
Thank you. And Committeeman Smith is also the liaison to the ad hoc committee this year, which is titled America 250. So if there's anybody that wants to volunteer to plan a celebration to celebrate America's 250th birthday, please do so.
Mayor, if I may?
Yeah, as a townie of some kind. I remember in 1976, I believe it was an Eagle Scout project. They painted they got permission from Hackensack Water at the time to paint all of the fire hydrants red, white, and blue, which is a pretty cool thing. And I believe it was the Sudol family, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I see you here in the audience, and it reminded me of that. So again, just an idea whether or not Veolia would allow us to touch their property anymore in this world, this litigious world. I don't know, but just a cool thing. And yeah, however I can help, please make sure that ad hoc committee, I know it's come up before, maybe American flags along some of our more prominent streets or something to that effect. So.
Yeah, I was in nursery school in the parks.
There you go. There you go.
Happy to show those pictures.
Nice. And also, I don't know who our last town historian was, but I know Ed Quinn has a lot of pictures and photographs, so I'll do my best to reach out. And I see Mrs. Ikabuchi. I'm sure you still have Ed's number, and maybe you'd be willing to help me out.
But it's Chip that has everything.
Chip Renner has it on that. Perfect, even better. So I have his info as well.
There's a website, and he's got a collection. If there's anybody that's got anything, it's him.
Awesome.
Ed has a lot of stuff, but Chip is the one that.
Perfect, thank you.
He's got it all digitized.
Oh, that's great.
So,
Thank you.
He could do like a DVR or something, what is it, a disc or something you could sell for the anniversary. You could
Very cool.
have, put them on for sale.
Yeah. Thank you.
so that leads into something else. When you mentioned his name, I look on Facebook and I see the pictures and I see them come up, and they're great. It's mind-boggling to me when I look at some of the areas trying to figure out where we're going to navigate. But when I was sitting there, my wife and I were looking at them and we were saying, geez, these pictures should be displayed. We should print those out and have those hanging up around here and around the hallway and have them, decorate the municipal building.
I'll speak during public portion.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can definitely have these conversations during public portion.
Okay.
Mr. Scatino, a legal update.
Yes, so we have a couple of matters to report on regarding 120 Passaic, also known as the Tolfer litigation. So the challenge to the decision of the Board of Adjustment in denying the daycare center based upon the redevelopment agreement was affirmed by Judge Padavano in a very lengthy and well thought out decision that was rendered today. So that decision, again, affirmed the decision of the Board of Adjustment. It did mention in the decision, though, that the developer, in accord with the redevelopment agreement, does have the right to request that the governing body amend the redevelopment agreement to allow uses beyond that which is in the redevelopment agreement. But for them to do that, they would have to appear at a governing body meeting, at a public session, and basically present their appeal as they would before a land use board. Also, they do have the right to appeal Judge Padavano's decision, but again, Judge Padavano's decision, in my opinion, was well thought out and supported by case law and the statutes, and essentially it came down to the municipal land use law with respect to daycare centers does not supersede the redevelopment agreement, which was negotiated with the developer and who agreed to develop the property for certain specific uses. And I think that, again, that decision, if it is appealed, will be affirmed. Also, unfortunately, Topher has filed a new lawsuit. One of those allegations deals with the Board of Adjustment's decision. So based on Judge Padavano's decision that was issued today, that, in my opinion, that part of the complaint will have no merit, because it's very difficult to argue that the decision of the Board of Adjustment was arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable when you have a Superior Court judge saying, no, they made the right decision. There are other allegations contained in the complaint with respect to the challenge that we've raised as to their renting of the parking spaces to Mazda. Again, the Township Committee feels very strong in its position, and also challenging the issuance of fines that have been levied against the property owner for what we believe is the illegal use of the parking for commercial storage of vehicles. So that complaint was served today. The process with respect to that will be, and it's already commenced, it's forwarded to our insurance carrier for coverage, and more than likely there will be coverage for most, if not all, the claims and all the defendants. An attorney then will be selected by the insurance carrier, and the township will be represented by at least one, if not perhaps multiple attorneys assigned by the JIF if they feel there's conflicts between the different defendants. But the Township Committee remains committed to moving forward to ensure that this developer or any developer in this community abides by whatever representations they make or whatever agreements they entered into with the Township Committee.
Thank you, John. Anything else for new business?
In my spare time, I spent some time down at Matthews Field, and we were looking over the concerns that have been brought up in the past, which I agree of the last time. I think that building, Dave can confirm this, Mr. Brown, you can confirm when you walked through that hallway with me and you said, geez, I remember when we won those trophies and this carpet was put down. So going back. So, to that point, we have a comprehensive overview of the interior renovations for that building to be put together, and the exterior of the building, the missing, from when the roof was done and the gutter was put on, the soffit that was never wrapped in aluminum that animals got into, and the provisions for the flooring to be redone, and the cabinets to be replaced and removed. And I mean, there's an LED upgrade to the lighting, all within, I believe it'll be within a grant, covered in a grant where we would have to pay for the project, as I understand, lay out the money, and we would be reimbursed for it under a grant that's already ongoing.
Correct, Deputy Mayor. We have a local recreation improvement grant that we were awarded for that project, and we already bonded for that money as well. So the funding is there, it's just a matter of getting the work done, and then we submit for the reimbursement.
Yeah, so it's a pretty extensive, and it's also, it's time to upgrade to the efficiency levels that where we're at. replacing some of the electric strip heaters that are in there with a high-efficiency ductless heating system in there as part of this. We'll also provide air conditioning in there. You know, maybe it can double its uses maybe we can double it for other events and use it for a meeting place for other committees and other people that need it. But it's a win-win. It's a time to do it, and there'll be more information presented to this committee and then to the public. So looking forward to having this done before opening day. We are going to need the comprehensive, we're going to need the help from recreation and baseball or whoever is going to be involved with us to help get all the trophies out of there, box them up, package everything, get everything emptied out of that building that's essential so we can do the renovations. And the renovation can be performed without anything getting damaged.
Just really quick, baseball signups have started, so, you know, just so everybody know, sign your kids up. Don't wait till the last minute.
Awesome. Thank you both. Just to close out new business, just from speaking to my colleagues and hearing all of their wonderful ideas, I think it would be great for an opportunity to establish a process or a formal, consistent way for residents to share ideas and give feedback that the Township Committee could then review. Just a opportunity for qualitative feedback moving forward. So at this time, I want to ask for a motion to authorize the clerk to develop a general resident feedback survey, including both a digital format and paper format, to collect input on township services, communication, and overall resident experience for review and consideration by the Township Committee at a future public meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Apici?
Yes.
Committeeman Smith?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cholinsky?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. Thank you so much, Gina. Excited to collaborate on that. It's time for public participation. Do I have a motion to open it up to the public?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Apici?
Yes.
Committeeman Smith?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cholinsky?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. We are open to the public.
Diane Haskell, Marshall Hart. This is a question, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if the attorney can answer. With everything going on with across the street at 120, does this, I realize you said there's no any lawsuits, but does this have any effect on the original pilot since they're not following the original agreement? Like, does that change anything?
Well, actually, we have filed a lawsuit against Hofer saying they have not complied, among other allegations, with the pilot agreement. And there is the possibility that as part of that litigation, because of what we contend is their breach of that agreement, that the pilot agreement could be set aside.
Okay. And that's part of,
the lawsuit we filed against Hofer.
okay. So it's all up in the air. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Again, Michael Warren, 181 West Oldest. Two things. One is, I heard about your shift back to regular hours. I just am concerned that we are shutting out a large portion of the population from accessing government services. 8 to 4, I'm not saying every employee has to stay late or leave early or whatever the case is, but there are people who are never going to be able to get here to get the services that they need. So, this year, if you could think about what you can do to just make this office or the building department or whatever office more accessible to those who obviously work, a full-time job during the day and can't get here. So not sure what that answer is, but I think it should be taken under consideration. Second, thanks for the shout out for the Environmental Commission. It was a really good session. I'll talk to David about coming back, and maybe we can advertise it and people who want to come hear it. David goes all over the county. He is the chairperson of Green Ridgewood. Basically, their goal is to unite the 6 towns along the river, which is worth about $77 billion of real estate, and try to get the county to take some action on flooding. Not worrying about what happens after a flood, but really trying to prevent the next big one, which David feels very strongly about is coming, and seeing the maps, Matt, we saw we're at the bottom of that list of towns where all the water is going to come to. So, there's a lot of great ideas, but obviously there's going to be a push that's needed. It's going to be, a price tag will be obviously on this project. David did mention, Dean, about, I know we did not get that grant that we tried to get ourselves attached to with the county. David feels, he mentioned this, that the county really did a terrible job applying for it. So I think him and his team want to re-examine the application and see again this year if the county will put some more effort into basically what they applied for. So that's kind of good news that there's another opportunity coming to get something to help. So appreciate that. Thank you for coming, Matt, to that meeting. Tommy, Mayor, you were stuck at work, but I'll see if you can come by again and do something for the public to, I put as much of it on Facebook as possible so people can see the slides, but, appreciate that. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. And just regards to what Michael brought up earlier, Administrator, maybe at the next meeting during your report, you could brainstorm some ways that we could give residents who can't access the municipal building until, after 5 o'clock because of schedule and whatnot, an opportunity to actually access the services within this building.
I'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
People were hired with specific hours, but sure.
Yeah.
Okay, reference to that particular issue with the flooding and everything. I really wish that I had known I certainly would have attended that meeting. I do agree that it should be advertised and publicized so people can come. I know that I'm not affected by it, but I understand. I'm very unfortunately throughout the years have been involved with the police department and with the municipality here. Reference to what happens to these poor people in this town when we do get floods. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we're going to get the next one. And what I've said this to many, many people, that it's not, if you sit back and you're idle and you don't say anything, what do you tell them when the next one hits? Because there's no excuse. And the county is the main, really, they're the ones that need to go on this. I set up a couple of meetings with the county, with the various towns. So I do have some knowledge. As a matter of fact, I, quite frankly, was, tried to push for this as best as I could through the county. So I'd be more than happy to do whatever I can do with my limited time. Reference to the hours, I tend to agree with Mr. Warren, because what I know as my experience being in the building is that you do have, first, especially around tax time is a prime example. Again, it's also with the dog licenses and stuff like that now. People, they like to come into the building, but unfortunately they don't have the opportunity to because of the hours. So I think that there is a way of, you don't have to have everybody in the building here all at one time, but there certainly is a way of, even if you have to break it up. But just another example, because I 100% agree that the people do need the opportunity to come in, and they should see our employees and interact with our employees as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. And just to clarify for the public, those summer hours are going to come back during summer after Memorial Day, but I appreciate the feedback. I think that perhaps there is an opportunity to find a creative pathway where residents can access municipal offices and services. And Mr. Davidson, I think it would be great to collaborate with the Environmental Commission to see if we can bring back Mr. Refkin to possibly do a presentation for the public at a township meeting. Thank you.
So that I'm sorry, Yakabuchi on Ward Street. That presentation's not online anywhere?
It's not.
Okay.
I don't believe so. There was pictures and a write-up from the Environmental Commission, but I don't believe it's available online. But again, it gives us
I think it would be a great
opportunity
idea
to invite them to a future township meeting.
Have something here, I think so too. Years ago when the last big flood hit, and it was years ago, if you notice, there's a house on El Dorado that's raised up as of today. So it took that long for them to do it. It's a major impact. And I myself, I'm not in the flood zone, but I keep flood insurance because I have the side and I have the front. I have two different areas that can come up. But anyway, Sean, the Waterworks in Oradell did a beautiful tabletop book. The woman Hagar, I believe, that just won her seat in Oradell, took her position there to work with the county for preservation. But it's a beautiful tabletop book, something maybe the town could do for the historical pieces that we have. Chip is you're going to be amazed. He can also do a DVD. And that's very inexpensive, but people can buy it and, have it if they want it. Back to the pilot program. I have a question because I hear that if the one clause that I know they're in default in is not having the facility built in that fourth quarter, why would that negate the whole pilot program? If you wanted to negotiate another commercial building, we've just heard what the lack of commercial businesses here does to the residents. So we obviously need more commercial properties in here, and it may be the letter of the law that they didn't comply with that one piece, but by that time the pilot agreement was a couple of years old, you build a kitchen, maybe you decide to put an island in or extend it, you renegotiate. I don't think being a hard nose with these zoning laws and every little particular is going to get you very far. I think the commercial aspect of this town, we have blight all over this town. We have the areas around CVS. There's got to be movement on these things. You can't just be a hard nose and say, well, this is the way it is. If you don't negotiate, you're going to throw everybody out of town. So I think you've got to relook at your attitude about things. So maybe you can answer, Mr. Schettino, why is the pilot program?
They're presently in litigation, but that's not the only breach. As you know, they're presently renting car spaces to Mazda.
Right.
So that's a commercial use in a residential zone. They never got a variance for it. They never got the approval of the governing body. So that's a second violation. A third violation is they have a pile of dirt that they have failed to remove. So there's multiple, we contend, as a township committee, that there's multiple issues with respect to their failure to comply with the redevelopment agreement.
But the major piece was not building that fourth interface.
It depends on what you consider major. I mean, the fact that they're renting storage space for vehicles that they're not permitted to do is also what would be considered a major, significant breach of the agreement.
But it's not major. I consider not building anything over there and denying a daycare center or whatever they wanted to put in. I consider that a major breach. But everything is negotiable.
Negotiable. There's no question about it.
And I think all these litigations serve nothing but the attorneys and the courts and everything else. Who wants another lawsuit in this town? You got to look at your attitude about things. You got to either calm down or, rezone when it's necessary. And as you say, the master plan should incorporate that. But I hope it takes into consideration the areas of blight here. We don't go anywhere with it. Thank you.
I'd like to follow up with that comment. The plans for that project, there are two commercial spots that are supposed to be still built there.
Two?
Yes, as part of the original planning that was done there.
The fourth quarter.
The
fourth
right
quarter.
Here, right across from us, right here. It's supposed to be right here.
Fourth section.
Supposed to be a dine-in and a takeout restaurant. Two food facilities supposed to be there.
Right.
The push was for those to go away or be replaced by a daycare facility. Now, the planning board of the past had public hearings with everyone had the opportunity to come and present their reasons for agreeing or not agreeing with the developer, and that was all resolved. That was all resolved in public hearing and a project to be done. So when you agree to a redevelopment to have all these aspects, and then you get 3/4 of the way done and you want to change that without the public weighing in on it, it's not fair to the public. So there is a commercial aspect to it, right? Another commercial aspect that's not built yet that they said they can't fulfill, I guess, or can't for some reason.
I do agree.
So it's not that we're not in the position to negotiate something that was already priorly negotiated. I mean, this was negotiated and this was resolved amongst the planning board. This was done. This was done in a public session.
I agree with public access, and they want this or they don't want that, but maybe it's time to take a different look, because now you've got lawsuits and you've got, there's no settlement. The dirt's still there. So, nobody's winning anything. Lawyers are expensive. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just touching back on the 2026 master plan, I believe this township committee wants to see commercial opportunities, but they also want to see smart development simultaneously. So we're looking forward to collaborating with the land use board and hearing from the public in regards to building that 2026 master plan. Anyone else?
Bill Coleman, 58 Slasher. After hearing this with the negotiations, that should be assessed at like $1.2 million in taxable. The pilot program gave them something around $600,000. So I think the township was more than generous in allowing them to build. I think they tried to exceed what they were permitted to do, and the daycare just didn't fit into it. Good evening, fellow defendants, and Happy New Year. The billboards, what prices do we have on the billboards? And if you want to send that to me.
It's in the town ordinance. It's anywhere between $4,000 and $4,500.
Oh, it is?
That's what we
Okay.
currently have it at.
Yeah. I did some research. I went back to the Super Bowl when we had it here. They were going for like $10,000, $20,000 for the month. They were for the Super Bowl, just because of the Super Bowl. That's it. So we have the soccer coming, so it's something I might look into. Regarding the commercial property, we can't take from Peter to pay Paul. They probably got special dispensations and special variances to put up those commercial properties. If they can't meet their obligation, then maybe what the township committee should do is reevaluate the property and possibly turn it into a mixed use. Take away the office spaces, let them put businesses downstairs like Mr. Warren had mentioned we need in town to stimulate the township. Put businesses downstairs and put condos upstairs. And if need be, put senior housing or something upstairs so it's no impact on the school. But we got to start thinking outside the box. We can't keep taking away from our from the tax revenue that's brought in and passing it on to the residents. I think the residents have enough of a burden. Thank you, and good evening.
Thank you so much. It's great to hear the commonality in this chamber, just that we want to see a better future for this municipality, and one way to do that is through planning and to build up our commercial spaces. So thank you. Anybody else? Hearing or seeing nobody, can I get a motion to close public comment?
Make a motion?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Petrie,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right. Before we approve the agenda, can I have a motion to add Resolution 26-053, authorization of retiree health benefits payment reimbursement agreement regarding William Cottrell? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Petrie,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Petrie,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right. Consent agenda. All items listed below are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Township Committee and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a committee member or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda as part of the general orders. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Petrie,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chalinsky.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. All right, that's going to wrap up our special meeting. The next meeting will be held on Wednesday, January 28th at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn our special meeting?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.